Hi Ravens! Today we're going to focus on argumentative essay writing. We're going to focus on our body paragraph. So I just wanted you to see the overall organization really quickly. So first you have an introductory paragraph, you have body paragraph 1, 2, and 3, and then a concluding body paragraph. So that's what an argumentative essay looks like. So here's our body paragraph organization. The first thing you have is a topic sentence. It's one sentence long, and it should say what your claim is for this paragraph or what you're arguing. 2, introduce evidence. When introducing textual evidence, introduce the author, the title, and any relevant information. Relevant information might include information about the source or the topic of text or study. 3 is where you just put your evidence in. So you'll have your quotation marks, you'll have your evidence. And then if you didn't put the author's name in the introduce evidence, then you'll put it at the end of your evidence in parentheses. And don't forget those quotes. Step 4 is explanation. It is a total of 3 to 4 sentences. By the end of your explanation, I should have an understanding of both your topic sentence, your evidence, and be persuaded to believe your claim. The first step you're going to do is you're going to rewrite your evidence in your own words in one sentence. Then you're going to do reasoning in from sentences 2 to 3. You're going to explain how your evidence supports the topic sentence or your reason. You might include additional details here that help explain how this evidence supports this topic sentence and your overall claim. And then your 4th sentence is going to refocus the reader. You're going to refocus your reader back to your claim, back to that topic sentence that you wrote before. Finally, you have a clincher. Here you're going to wrap up the idea of the paragraph and connect it back to your controlling idea. So how does this paragraph support the central argument? Today we're just going to focus on steps 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to write our topic sentence, we're going to introduce our evidence, and write out our evidence. In order to write my body paragraph, I'm going to refer back to my graphic organizer. My central claim is that rats are our foes because they destroy our food, they destroy our infrastructure, and they carry diseases that are harmful or fatal to humans. So you'll notice that each of these colors refers to the different pieces of evidence. I already have my supporting claim for my first reason, which is the body paragraph I'm going to talk about today. You'll need to come up with a supporting reason or claim for the second body paragraph and the third body paragraph. So for the first body paragraph, I have 2 pieces of evidence for the supporting claim, rats are our foes because they destroy food that humans would otherwise eat. So my evidence for that is in the United States, the Department of Agriculture estimates that rats spoil over 400,000 tons of food a year with their urine and droppings. And then the second evidence is estimates vary, but worldwide experts say rats eat or destroy between 1/5 to 1/3 of the human food supply. So for today's paragraph, where I'm just going to use one piece of evidence, I'm going to actually cross off this first piece of evidence, and I'm just going to use the second piece of evidence because I think that that second piece of evidence is a little bit of a stronger argument to support my claim because I want to talk about the world. I don't want to talk about only places like the United States. So here I'm just going to rewrite my topic sentence, which I already have in my graphic organizer. So remember, it's my claim or what I'm arguing. So here it is. Rats are foes because they destroy our food that humans would otherwise eat. So here's what I want you to do right now. I'm going to have you go ahead and look at your graphic organizer. I want you to come up with a supporting claim for this second paragraph right here. For this second paragraph. So you're going to look at these 2 pieces of evidence, look at this part of my overall claim, they destroy our infrastructure, and I want you to go ahead and write a claim for this paragraph. So go ahead and pause really quick and come back when you're done. So although my next step is introducing my evidence, I'm actually going to have us start with just writing out our evidence and leaving some room in our notebook to introduce our evidence. So go ahead and write out your evidence. And I really want you to pay attention to what your evidence says, because it will really help you when you go ahead and write your introduced evidence. So in my case, estimates vary, but worldwide experts say rats eat or destroy between 1/5 to 1/3 of the human food supply. Okay, so go ahead really quickly, leave like 4 lines for your introduced evidence and go ahead and write your evidence out. So go ahead and pause and do that. Now let's go ahead and come back to our introduced evidence, which is step 2, right? So remember that when we introduce our evidence, we have to give any extra information that's relevant to the evidence that I'm going to talk about, or the author and the title. So let's look at my evidence really quick again, right? My evidence talks about rats, how they eat and destroy 1/5 to 1/3 of the human food supply. So I might want to say something about the world and how they do that. So here's how I'm going to say it. All over the world, rats eat huge quantities of grain like rice and wheat. So I'm using some information that I might have learned from the article to kind of introduce my evidence in a way that will help you make sense of what the evidence is. They also spoil food with their urine and droppings. And then here's my introduce evidence part, where I'm really going to introduce the actual evidence and put it and embed it into my sentence. So historian Albert Marin, author of Oh Rats, explains the damage rats do when he says, and that goes right into my evidence, right? So here are 3 different ways that you can you can embed your evidence. You might say the author's name, just like I did, states, and then the evidence. You might write according to the author's name, author of, and then the title of the piece, and then the evidence. Or you might say the evidence states author's name in title of piece. The way that I did it is I added a tiny bit of information before I wrote my evidence. I said that I used the first example, historian Albert Marin, author of Oh Rats, and then I wrote explains the damage rats do when he says, and then I write out my evidence. So here's what my 3 steps sound like all together. Topic sentence, rats are foes because they destroy food that humans would otherwise eat. All over the world, rats eat huge quantities of grain, like rice and wheat. They also spoil food with their urine and droppings. Historian Albert Marin, author of Oh Rats, explains the damage rats do when he says, estimates vary, but worldwide experts say rats eat or destroy between 1/5 to 1/3 of the human food supply. So right now, what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and make sure that you have all 3 of these parts. This is what is due by the end of class, so that tomorrow when you come in, we can go ahead and focus just on the explanation and the clincher sentences.